Good morning. So I will talk a little bit about a Prosecco research, especially the Conegliano Valdobbiadene Prosecco. Is a research made by a colleague of mine, that is Luigino Barisan. Together we made, and this relate a new way of a new collective brand within the Conegliano Valdobbiadene that we can say not only one collective brand, but many collective brand, specific collective brand. We call menzioni in Italy, but we can define as like sub-appellation, sub-designation. So let me see. Okay. This new sub-appellation are called in Italian Rive, and Rive means a steep slope of the hills where the vines are grown. So in many of these Rive, in this area, small area, we have some kind of heroic viticulture because they are very steep, as you can see from some images here. Our research, because this new sub-appellation started in 2010, when there was a reform of the designation, the Prosecco Conegliano Valdobbiadene designation. First it was just DOC, that means control of origin designation. Now it's DOCG, that means not only control but also guarantee. It's just, you can find this specification, this kind of geographic indication only in Italy, in the Italian legislation, because in the European legislation we have just DOP, that means protected designation of origin or protected appellation. So the objective, the goal of our research is to see how is considered this new sub-appellation just in the place where these appellations are applied. That I mean in the Conegliano Valdobbiadene area, district, because we thought that they have to be more appreciated just from the local consumer. So we want to see if we started from the restaurant that are in the area to see if they appreciate this new sub-appellation. We have was a kind of sub-appellation that were superimposed. They not started from the bottom, because they just identified 45 Rive sub-appellation, and they try to see, let's see if the producer wanted to appellate their wine using some of them. And so it was just a challenge. And we will see after 6 years after this possibility what happened at the level of the restaurant. From previous research, we have a growing wine tourism in this area, and many of the wine tourists, they go not only to the wineries, but also they rest, they take meal at the restaurant. So you can see in this presentation, I will focus a little bit on these things. Maybe if you have some question, I can explain a little more about the so-called quality pyramid of the Prosecco. And you can see we talk about this upper part of the pyramid. And you can see a huge area producing a Prosecco, but here we are in the Conegliano Valdobbiadene, in the hilly area, the traditional area. Talking about the Rive, we can see that this is the trend of the Conegliano Valdobbiadene. This is the what we call the big Prosecco. Mostly it's growing the flatland. Instead, this is growing the hill. So you see a successful trend, but especially from the big Prosecco, not for the Conegliano Valdobbiadene, also because the area is limited, so no possibility of increase the surface of the wine. Here you can see all the rive is picked by hand. There is few possibility of mechanization, so it should be the better Prosecco in the rive, produced with using few mechanization, just the heroic viticulture. And also the name of the river related to borough, to special name of the area, so they are like a crew in a certain way. You see, these are some data about the production, the limitation, and the feature of the rive. And Cartizze is at the top, is a kind of old established rive, is a sort of rive also Cartizze, but there was also before, and the highest price are commanded by Cartizze in the Prosecco world. These are some number about river. We have 175 wine growers, the hectares, 50 wineries producing sparkling wine. And you can see just some of them are more than others are used by the producer. You see the trend of the hectares, the trend of average surface of the river, because new producer enter in the river world during this year, and also the number of the bottle increased. So our survey was focused to see these specific topics: the price gap between the rive and the superiore, the weight of the rive within the sale in the restaurant, and the consumer knowledge, the operator opinion, and the relationship between the business location and the type of rive. We surveyed 86 restaurants who operate in all the 15 boroughs of the area. Some results are these. You see the rive diffusion is sold in 30% of the sample restaurant. So they do not believe in the rive, or they, according to their consumer, they do not they still sell the rive. Usually we can find rive in the restaurant where the meal is more costly. And here in this graphic you see the distribution of the rive according to the specific area of the borough. And we can see that in many cases, with some exception, we have a correspondence between the area where is the rive and the restaurant. There is a connection between them. We see some that two rive are more appreciated by among the others, and especially in the area of Conegliano and Valdobbiadene, two main areas of the city, you can find in the restaurant this rive sub-appellation. We can see also, this is in Italian, but we can see especially where we have a fish or traditional cuisine or other more than in international cuisine. And also, so we have a different rate according to the kind of the restaurant. This is the price gap between rive and the other, the superior Prosecco Conegliano Valdobbiadene. Is about 80%, not too much. and this is the average price that for the restaurant. They pay on average about €7.5. And this is, we have a connection very high with the perceived quality of the river brand and the connection between the river brand and the heroic viticulture. However, as you can see from this figure, the mentioned river is not the most important factor in choosing the wine, compared, for example, with the main designation brand, the producer brand, or the counseling from the restaurant. The last figure relates to the promotional political perception. We have that we can have a good improvement in this because the promotional has not been fully implemented. This is the opinion of the restaurant. Or the promotional was not too effective, so there are margin for improving the development of the river among the local restaurant. So, yeah, just a resume of the main finding. From this result, we can see that river can be an important tool to connect the typicality of the area, the traditional, and also the heroic viticulture with the wine tourism and with the local consumption. However, the tutelary consortium, that is the body for the promotion of the collective trademark, the Prosecco Conegliano Valdobbiadene, has to do many other efforts. Thank you.